In today's video, I'm going to be talking about motion offenses, what they are, and a couple of examples as to when and how you can use them and different motion plays that you can run. There's a few different options when it comes to a 3-out, a 4-out, a 5-out, but really quickly, if you want a complete guide to the 5-out basketball motion offense, make sure to go check out the link down in the description below. Let's get down to this. Okay, so the whole idea behind the motion offense is to start and stop at the exact same spots as to where you were at the beginning. So, for example, in a 5-out offense or a 5-out motion offense, what we can have is pass and cut. So, for example, player 1 would pass to player 2. Player 1 would then cut to the basket. Player 4 will then fill up to the point. Player 3 will fill up to the wing. And player 1 will fill out to the corner. And altogether, the play basically looks like it just started the exact same way, except the ball is over here. If, for example, player 2 passes up to player 4, player 2 cuts to the rim, player 5 then fills up, and then player 2 fills out. Again, the play stops and starts at the exact same spots. Now, a very common motion offense that you can run is a 4-out. And everyone kind of runs this differently. There are many different options that you can run out of this. One of the most easiest versions that I have seen is to say that every pass or every other pass has to go to the high post player. So for example, player 1 would pass to player 5. He would then cut to the rim, but so would player 3 as well. This will give player 5 two different options to pass to at the beginning, and then players 4 and 2 will then fill out where players 3 and 1 originally started. Once those players fill out, player 5 may have an option to pass to them as well, so he has 4 players to pass to. Players 1 and 3 will then cycle out, and the play then starts again. If player 5 doesn't have an option to pass to after 1 or 2 seconds, we can then have player 4 and 2 again cut to the rim, and then player 1 and 3 fill back out towards the point. Player 4 and 2 would then cycle out, and again, player 5 would be having multiple different options to pass to one of those 4 players. He can also attack the rim himself if there's no options available as well, and if he's able to beat his man off the dribble. Another option that is ran quite often is player 4 will show to the wing and player 1 will pass player 4 the ball. Once he passes player 4 the ball, player 5 will set a back screen on player 1 who will then cut to the basket, and while all of this is happening on this side, players 3 and 2 will be crossing. Player 1 will cut to the rim, and of course player 4 may have the option to pass to player 1 for the layup. If not, player 4 dribbles back up top, player 1 fills out, and again we start at the exact same starting point as we were when we began the actual play. Now, the whole idea behind a motion offense is to be as simple and as easy as possible so that pretty much every team of every age can run the offense. You want to be able to run through the exact same motions. It's also classified as positionless basketball because there's a lot of players who may grow tall fast and early in their childhood, but then ultimately not be actually tall in the future, so that now instead of having a 6-foot player in grade 6 who is just an absolute beast in the low post, ultimately not become a point guard in the future and have to relearn everything about basketball. This way we can teach every position and be able to then, of course, not have somebody who is super tall become a point guard or somebody who's super short become a center and relearn the whole game of basketball all over again. That's why I personally absolutely love motion offenses. They're simple and it teaches positionless basketball. Also, motion offenses can teach the game of basketball as well. We'll go back to the 5-out really quickly because I personally really like the 5-out, but also you can grab the full breakdown of the 5-out offense down in the description below. But either way, after you pass the ball in basketball, you can't just stay in one spot. The reason being is now you're allowing the defense to be stagnated and they're going to be not moving as much. They may even start cheating off of you to defend the player who has the ball. So, after you pass the ball, you have to do something, and some of the most basic options in the 5-out is either to cut to the basket, to set a screen for the player who you pass to, or to screen away from the player that you passed to. This way, we are not just teaching, hey, you can pass here and stay still. You can pass, you can cut, and then if player 1 gets that ball on the cut, and let's say a player played help defense, he can then come to a jump stop, he can kick that ball out to player 2, he can then, of course, fill out, player 5 fills out, and then player 2 could pass to player 4, he could then set a screen for player 4 could use that screen, and then player 4 could pass to player 2, he could then kick out to any one of these players out on the perimeter. Defenses can shift, swing that ball, drive, kick, swing is another version of the 5-out that you can run, and it's super simple and super easy and teaches our players how to dismantle defenses without really having to do too much. I hope that this video's helped you if you're a basketball coach or if you're a player. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.